What up, party people? It is actually our season finale ourselves of the Man Without Fear Mondays. We have decided that because Daredevil's kind of ending, it doesn't make sense to continue on really for the next however long. Kind of cut it here. And maybe why don't you tell everybody what it is we're going to be doing today?
Today we are going to talk about Muse, but in a different way. We are going to be talking about the Lady Muse. Surely by now you have seen the leaks. If you have not, do not listen any longer. If you like leaks and you are fine with all this, then keep listening and be sure to like and subscribe.
So it is the 5-issue miniseries that was by Erica Schultz and then Jose Luis and then also Valentina Pinti. And then the cover for issue 1 at least is Paolo Sequeira, and its tagline is "Murder is an art. The violence and the occult swirling across the Marvel universe find their way to Hell's Kitchen. Grisly crime scenes start manifesting across the city. All signs point to an impossible perpetrator. We're picking up Elektra. She's running around as Daredevil. Her and Matt are kind of splitting their time between the two of them. And where we meet Elektra, she's out there just kicking some butt as I accidentally clicked the wrong thing because I am off my game. Yeah, so before I add the background back in, Elektra's out there beating everybody up. What are your, we pick up with Elektra at this time? I know you're a big Elektra fan, so what was this like for you?
I love Elektra as Daredevil. I think she brings something fresh to the mantle. I think her heart's in the right place. And I think she can see things from a different perspective than Matt. For the obvious reasons, because, Catholic guilt is his superpower, and she just does not have that. So she's willing to do what she needs to do, no matter what it is, to save the day.
And she also kind of just, yeah, like you said, Matt just always creates his own problems for himself when he doesn't really need to be doing so at all. And so whereas she was willing to go kind of as far, but she's not a killer anymore. She's kind of dialed that back because she's wearing Daredevil. She's kind of doing it for Matt. And I think I really enjoyed that aspect of things. And it's weird seeing them kind of split duties over Hell's Kitchen. But what I really like is her interpretation of Hell's Kitchen, right? It's, smelly and just kind of decrepit. And that's kind of what everybody seems to think of. And she's also working with somebody else, and that's Cole North. I forgot that he was working kind of with Foggy Nelson at this point, and he's feeding her information. How are we feeling about our boy Cole North at this point? Because if everybody remembers, Cole North was introduced. He's kind of a cop coming. He kind of had some issues in Chicago. He shows up. He ends up shooting Matt because he thinks Matt committed a murder at this robbery scene. It was not the case. So there was some bad blood there to begin with. But what are you feeling about Cole North these days?
I think us talking about him right now is so ironic given the finale that now yes. we saw him kind of turn into a completely different direction, which is kind of like it is here. Cole North was at most a nuisance, to be honest. But now that he's working with Elektra, he's trying to do right. It makes sense that these two former baddies are working together.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see the direction they took him on the show. Obviously, he was very much farther in deep with like the AVTF than I would have expected, but we did see him kind of come around there at the end, and now he's kind of working. So I'd be curious to see his character development and kind of where they go. I could see him kind of turning in the show, instead of becoming, he'll leave the cop force if he gets out of jail at any point, becoming maybe that private investigator that Cherry kind of was for Kirsten and Matt. If their law firm, God knows what's going to happen with that law firm anymore, but that's neither here nor there. Elektra's a badass.
Most cursed of all time.
Our boy Muse is back, and this time he's found himself his own tortured poet artist, if you will, by Morgan. She is a painter, and she's kind of getting berated at the end of her, lesson there about her painting because it's very dark and things of that nature. I feel like that was a little harsh by the art teacher. Like, art is subjective. Why are you kind of going at our girl like this?
When the art teacher was going off, I was like, okay, you're just the most annoying artist in the entire world. And then when things start to perspire, things are happening, and when they do happen, when she is taken over by the ghost of Muse, I was like, you know what? This isn't like, she might have a point.
Yeah, it's kind of wild because, Muse is just hanging down there, and then we see her, he's just having a good old time. He's painting his buddy Daredevil, and down comes crashing Morgan to hell, and he's going, what? Hey, what's going on there? You want to sell your soul to me for some good artistic abilities? And she kind of gives in pretty easily. There was no fight on her end. I was like, well, hold on. She was looking for an excuse.
Oh, for sure. You just look at her the wrong way. She's like, I'll do it. It's cool. Like, this has always been in her heart, I feel like. And she was just too easy to manipulate. So I think it's like, was she an innocent bystander? Technically, yes. But did she have it in her to want to do this? I also think that's a yes.
I agree. What is very interesting to me is how taken aback she goes, this isn't what I signed up for. So I guess my biggest question, Morgan, what did you think you were signing up for exactly, considering the fact that you willingly gave your soul to some dude in hell and you Muse, nonetheless? This guy in this mask, like, what did she think she was signing up for?
First of all, people sell their souls for so much more. Bring a friend back, riches, jewels, fame, fortune, all of that. And girl, you sold your soul. You didn't even sell it to like Mephisto, the devil, or anything. You sold it to Muse.
She didn't get anything out of this deal.
Right. And who's had like, what is it, like 27 pages to himself in the Marvel universe?
Yeah. He's notorious for taking eyeballs out and really killing people. And I feel like you'd have to know who Muse is if you're in the art scene of New York City, first of all, because that was his whole shtick. And so to not know who Muse is, to be so quick to give yourself up and then not even get anything in return, girl was kind of really must have been going through it pretty hard. And hey, I don't really understand, but the first artistic piece after giving up the spirit, her body to Muse, is this it's Elektra as Daredevil, and Muse doesn't know who it is, and that's to kind of get her attention. That was bold, and she went along with it still. She was still in control and like, yeah, this is cool.
That was like, you have to have something just discombobulated in your soul to make, because I remember when I first read it and I opened the page and I was like, oh, that's why
arms are torn off and sewn together. Like, it's
Erica Schultz crazy. Came in like a freaking Kool-Aid man with the red band.
She really did, though, and I love that about Erica, because while this is only 5 issues, really pretty much from issue 2 to the end is nothing but just ass beatings and violence in the best way possible, because Elektra, ends up seeing on this, she gets a call from Cole and he's like, hey, you come check this out. She checks it out. She finds a little address. She goes to the address after kind of talking with Matt a little bit and discarding him. He whatever, Matt, you don't know nothing. I'm Elektra. I've come back from death so many times, buddy. Well, she shows up to this fight and she's in over her head. Like, take us through this. What happens once her and Lady Muse here start to throw down?
I think it's exactly what you said. She's in over her head. She looks at it. She's like, I'm Daredevil. I was Elektra. I have been the Kingpin's security. I have done everything. I've been killed by Bullseye. I can handle some dramatic artist. Girl, no, you can't. I think that's when there was a very big climax in the story when that happened, that where you were like, okay, Erica, what are we doing here? Because I thought Elektra's got it. No sweat.
Agreed. I did too. But to kind of preface, they did give us a little bit of what was to come, considering the fact that our girl punches, Petra's head clean up. Like, that was a gnarly piece of art on that page where she punches him to get him to shut up or relax. And instead she punches through his head. And it just was so up close and visceral and violent. And the art was crazy because you saw an eyeball going this way, just the way that his head kind of melted apart. And I'm like, wow, this is Red Band. Yeah, we're reading the Red Band.
I remember reading this and I was like, okay, I'm not all right. And then I watched Wonder Man and they did the same thing. I was like, okay.
Yeah, what is happening in Marvel?
It's like with Game of Thrones and doing things with eyes. Like, what is your deal? Can you stop? Yeah, you're right. And again, the eyes, guys, come on. Why is it always the eyes? Is somebody still, PTSD, leave them alone.
My gosh. I know this was made long before, but God. Yeah, and they fight, and it's a great fight. And then Lady Muse kind of gives up total control to Muse, and ultimately Elektra lets herself get stabbed into the heart, and she knows she's dying. So then she stabs Morgan, and they both end up down in hell with Muse. And like, this is kind of when they're fighting and they're going back and forth, and Elektra's down and out, and it's brutal. It's a good fight. I really genuinely enjoyed this fight. And then there's a surprise guest. Who's our surprise guest that I haven't even mentioned yet?
Well, there's two. So
who is the one that deals with demons the most?
Ghost Rider, our boy Ghost Rider, I loved the build up to him getting into hell. And then he said, there's actually an opening to hell. It's Hell's Kitchen after all. And I was like, son of a gun, you're right.
Yeah, he does make that. He goes, Hell's Kitchen's known for a lot of things, but it's also basically a portal down to hell, as he's whipping his bike around because he got there just a little too late. And I love how he comes flying in there as Elektra's fighting Hellectra, and Muse and Morgan are just kind of standing there watching and everything go down, because Muse also wants Elektra to give up herself to evil, essentially, and give herself over to hell and become just this powerful evil being that can never return. So I loved when Ghost Rider showed up, because I don't think Ghost Rider's really used enough in this type of universe or setting.
He's not used enough in anything, even his own story.
No.
You know what? I'm not even going to go into that, because I have beef with that. And it's like, we're being positive. It's cool.
We're positive. Yeah. And he shows up, him and Elektra, he talks her down from the ledge. They ended up, fighting and taking everything down. And this brings us to our final issue. So why don't you take us away for how this event kind of wraps on up?
There's a really big coming to moment for Elektra when she's like, I am greater than the bad things I've done. I am not this person. I'm not still Elektra. I'm not anything like her, even though they're like, yeah, you are. You're a bad bitch. You know it. And like, part of me, I was like, yeah, you are, Elektra. And then, yeah, it's a pretty great ending, because I really do want to see Ghost Rider and Elektra work more together, but they're so random, it's never going to happen again, like, ever.
But it really should, because you would think that Ghost Rider would be around more, considering the hand and the things that the hand do in dealing with demons and hell and all of that stuff. It kind of just fits perfectly, in fact.
Yeah. But Erica Schultz, thank you for this, because I love Ghost Rider, man. I freaking love Ghost Rider. But the ending, Morgan's dead. She's gone. Which, like, okay, when I first read it, I was like, oh, that's so sad. But then by the end of it, I was like, Morgan was kind of a problem too, though.
Morgan kind of deserved it. Like, is it okay to say that Morgan kind of deserved this one, considering she was real quick to offer her soul and to some very crazy murdering?
I don't know if she deserved it, or just more out of everyone in the world, she was better suited for it.
Yeah, that could be a good point too. A good point. Tortured artists, man, you never know what's going on inside there. How many artists have committed suicide or other things of that nature, right? It's just those artsy types. I've dated some in my past, and they were all crazy, I tell you. I'm pretty sure that, if they were given the opportunity, they probably would have given themselves to Muse too. But I really love the supernatural inclusion into Muse, because I'm glad Muse kind of is still around down in hell, just kind of kicking around, doing his thing, because it gives the opportunity to come back again. Because I love just how off the wall this character is. And so to see him kind of come back was fun for me. And that's why I'm hoping that the way things ended in Born Again Season 2, I'm kind of hoping they lean into that supernatural element a little bit. And why not bring Ghost Rider in, man?
So my thing with Muse is I feel like there's not enough just bad characters, like bad to the bone. Like, we don't emphasize, don't give me a reason to feel bad for you and understand why you're that way. He's just a messed up person, and I feel like there's not enough of those, but they make such good stories. So when Muse died, I was like, oh my, come on. So when the fact that Erica Schultz has us with a looming threat that Muse is just there, I freaking dig that so much. I love that. I love it.
And I love when things get kind of like that mystical and dark, not in this Doctor Strange magical kind of sense, but when we play around with these other mystic beings. Hell is a great concept in general, and I thought they kind of did some cool stuff with the concept of hell within this issue, or this mini run. And I really thought that was brought back into it. And then when there's some brutality to it, not everything is sunshine and rainbows on streets and in the street levels, especially when you're dealing with this character. And I agree, not enough characters really. Just not everybody has to have a reason. You don't have to feel bad. And not for nothing, but you even kind of in the show, they've made Bullseye somewhat sympathetic, and you're kind of rooting for him. And he's also kind of a psychopath. But so I just want somebody I want to purely hate for no reason. Fisk lost Vanessa. I'm like, oh man, he lost his wife. I kind of get what he's going through. But like, just give me somebody that I'm like, hell yeah, I love it. He's never going to be redeemed no matter what. And that's the point.
But I feel like there's a difference with like characters like Muse, who you're like, you just love them because there's just an evil to them, but an evil that makes them an evil villain.
Yeah.
But then there's just evil characters like Daredevil Born Again, Officer Powell. That's when I was like, just die. I hope you die.
We hate that dude because he is just a straight a-hole. Straight up. Die. Die, my dude. But, I mean, yeah, he's about as evil. He's probably the most evil character on that show, in all honesty. But,
sure.
But you're right. Muse is doing it for the love of the game.
Oh, I agree. But if people are more familiar with Elektra being Elektra, then I would say you really don't need to know anything going into this run, but this gives you a perfect look at how complex it is for her to be Daredevil and what she battles daily, doing the right thing.
Erica really did a great job with her inner monologue as she's going through the streets, as she's fighting, really talking about how some of this is easy, some of this is hard, and hey, I'm not killing people. Or even when she said the simple thank you to Cole North, and Cole was like, I like this Daredevil, because the other Daredevil never said thank you a day in his life, but this Daredevil said thank you. That's pretty cool. And just things like that. You know, the way that she really
why are you so like that? Like, why are you rude? Just say thank you. What?
Hey man, just a simple thank you goes a long way, as we can clearly see, guys. Come on. I dug it. I dug what they did here. For me, this was a 10 out of 10 5-issue run, and I would love some more of this. I want more.
True. 10 out of 10 for me too. And also the fact that it made such an impression that it came last year, and they're already bringing Lady Muse into the MCU. Bananas. But just to clarify something, I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's woke. They're making Muse a girl. First of all, there's a whole comic run about it. We don't know if Muse has possessed her. We don't know anything. So instead of, just saying, oh, it's the MCU, let's just let him cook. Because, like, look, if Heather's not Muse, she's just going to be annoying Heather. Let's just
Heather's annoying. And I love what they're doing. I'm actually glad they're going this route. I'm glad they didn't go her comic origin route. And I would love for them to, I hope they don't shy away from it actually being Muse down in hell, because we have Mephisto. I would love that. But even if they don't, her being tortured by Muse and kind of taking this life on its own, although I don't think Heather can fight. So I'm really hoping they lean in supernatural a little bit to give her some of that element of power and ability and actually make her kind of terrifying. Listen, let them cook. Like you said, I like it. I personally really, really like it, because it makes it, instead of this annoying character that you hate, it's a character that, we can kind of like get behind and also be like, yeah, no, I'm hating them, but they're also a good villain.
Right. And we still could get the Heather comic accurate ending, which is her offing herself, because isn't that how Muse dies in the comics? So
you still could get it. That's how she defeats Muse, right? Defeats Muse within her, if that is the thing. She ends up going that route.
When it was Muse, when he just let himself burn to death.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which we didn't know, but that aged really well, because now he's in hell.
It did. And now he's in hell. And so, yeah, that is going to be it for our season 1 of Man Without Fear. We're going to take a break. And then probably here in a few weeks, we'll do some Spider-Man, getting you ready for Brand New Day, talking about Punisher's first entrance. We're going to talk about a little bit of, the Amazing Spider-Man, get you set for that. And then we have something prepared to get us all ready for Doomsday. But in the meantime, if you want a little Doomsday prepping, check out our Doomsday prepping playlist, where we're recapping all of the MCU in 60 seconds or less of any character that could possibly show up. We got a whole playlist to that. Check out our other episodes. Check out our post shows if you want more Daredevil. And then, as always, like, subscribe, share, follow here at Nerd Initiative. Check out our comic book reviews on nerdinitiative.com. Until next time, hey, you got a couple months. Let us know what comics you want us to talk. It might just happen.
True.
Nerds, 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 nerds.